Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. This is the somewhat irregular podcast where sometimes certain people get together. We don't always have the same people, but tonight we do have three of us. So I'm Ryan. I'm the progressive of the bunch, though I am wearing red, which drives Tom nuts. We have Tom, regularly our conservative contributor, who is wearing black. So he's kind of just throwing everybody for a loop. And then we have Josh, who is wearing a light, like baby blue. Is that what that is?
I thought it was gray, but I'm colorblind, so you can't hold it over my head.
I was just trying to do the whole conservative progressive color thing, but again, we're just throwing it to the wind. It doesn't work.
The logo's blue, so yeah.
Okay.
I'm blue.
All right. So Josh is wearing blue, but he's a conservative. I'm wearing a burnt crimson. We're all like hipster tonight, I think. That's the plan, right? So Josh is not wearing a perfect blue. It's a hipster blue, Eddie Bauer blue. Burnt crimson, yeah, and black. Anyway, welcome to Finding Common Battlegrounds.
I can't hear Tom.
Oh.
I out?
Oh, now you're back.
Yeah. I'm back?
Yeah.
FYI, Tom's audio's pretty crappy tonight.
Yes. He had a mic go kaput just before this. So, but it's okay. I think what it is like, if he tries to talk over us, it takes a second for his to cut in. So we just need to be like clear in our pauses. It's fine. Anyway,
that's disastrous because Tom's usually the one that creates civility by, shouting us down because we go at each other's throats. So this could be a bloodbath tonight.
No more comedic injections. Wait.
Yeah.
Fast to speak.
Okay, Tom. So the rule tonight is you're going to have to raise your hand, and then we'll stop.
Comment.
And then you can talk.
Wow.
All right. Before we get to our topics, a word from our sponsor, Lux Bidets. Josh, you want to tell us what has happened a little bit in your life?
Oh, so, about a month ago, my house burned down. And as I was literally running through the fire and flames, what's going through my mind is, I got to get the kids out. The house is gone. I'm not putting the fire out. I should probably get my NAS box with all our pictures out. And I got to save that freaking bidet.
But
it didn't happen. It didn't happen. My bidet's gone. I've been, that Lux bidet has got me through some rough times, man, for a long time. And now, as you can see in the video, I'm living in my in-laws' basement, which is every man's dream. And I did not have a bidet for about a month. And I got to tell you guys, what a nightmare. That's the worst part of having your house burned down and losing all your possessions, losing the bidet. But luckily, my loving liberal brother mailed me a bidet. I got it about 2 weeks ago.
Something like that,
yeah, life's
Everyone's
better.
Everyone's happy that he did it because he just had the messiest butt.
It was painful and messy, and I'm clean again. I'm happy again. My house is still burned down, but I'm a happy man. So thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Lux Bidet.
And thanks, Lux, because that is a Lux bidet, right, that they sent specifically for the podcast. So that was the spare that I had on hand, thanks to our sponsor. And now Josh has his bidet back.
Oh, I'm so happy. And this model, I told my mother-in-law I was installing one because they have one upstairs, and she was like, okay, but they're so hard to clean. This new model, it has a flip-up feature. It makes them so easy to clean. So Lux does it again. They've upgraded. It's awesome. It really is awesome.
And with that one, doesn't it have like a scent input thing so you can actually put a scent in?
It's like an aloe vera thing that I haven't used much yet. You push a little button and it mixes aloe vera in while you're cleaning. I'm undecided on this feature yet. I haven't used it extensively, but I will. Right. I will clean and report.
Thank you. All right. So shout out to Lux Bidet. We have 2 topics tonight. We debated a couple more. We'll see how far this goes. But it has been close to a month since we've done a podcast, and shocking, there have been some turn of events since then. So our first topic tonight is probably the major news story of this presidential election cycle, post the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. And that is the replacement of Biden at the top of the ticket with Kamala Harris. That happened almost a month ago. Things have shifted pretty dramatically since then. So no specific news articles on this one. It's just kind of a, what do y'all think about this replacement of Biden at the top of the ticket with Kamala Harris? Who wants to start? Oh, Tom, raise your hand and then we'll let you go. Tom's in.
Well, yeah. This is the weirdest thing ever, in my opinion. I found this quote here, which I really liked, and so it's by Glenn Greenwald, who I'm not familiar with, but someone was reposting it and I liked it. But it said, the way the U.S. corporate media transformed Kamala Harris from a national embarrassment to a transformative pioneer overnight, without even pretending to care about anything that she thinks or believes, is a powerful statement to how potent the science of propaganda is. And it's it's a Time magazine. She's on the front of Time magazine, right, saying her moment. And then I saw another thing saying, yeah, like 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, she was polling at 28% approval rating, lowest of any VP ever, and now has now become the nominee and is is receiving incredibly positive coverage. She has not done a single live interview yet since becoming the nominee, or a debate, but yet she's just this amazing figure that was rallying behind. And I think that, well, and then the last thing I was going to say is Biden, was like, what, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, was like, they're trying to get me out of this race. They're trying to push me out. I'm going to stay. And no, okay, I'm out. And I don't know if anyone thinks that that was actually his decision, because I don't think it was. And then Kamala came in now, and it's like just a lot of gerrymandering of this whole candidate, very undemocratic, and it feels like you're just like, here is Kamala, and you will like her. That's my opinion.
Interesting. Josh,
like,
take it.
Beyond gerrymandering, right? Ryan, you're a registered Democrat. Did you vote for the Democrat nominee?
I think you guys are using the word gerrymandering incorrectly.
Yes, we are. But answer the question.
I mean, she wasn't on the ticket. So no,
Okay,
there's no way for me to vote for her.
It's so bizarre to me that the Democrats are saying Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. And the party leaders, and I use that phrase deliberately, the party leaders just put in their candidate that not a single Democrat voted for. And they're saying that Trump's the threat to democracy. No Democrat voted for Kamala. They all voted for Joe. And now Joe's off the ticket. The party leaders decided that, and that's who's going to run and might win, right? It's dumbfounding.
Bait and switch.
I mean, but beyond that, I mean, because it was a bait and switch, but beyond that, the people didn't vote for this lady. The party leaders went, you know what? This is our person. That is terrifying that they have that much power, and everybody's like, well, okay, I guess she's our lady. That's crazy to me. That's not, as Tom said, where's the democratic process here? The party leaders have just told you who you're voting for. That's terrifying. And Donald Trump's the threat to democracy? Sorry. You know my feelings on Trump. Sorry, that's not the case.
The scariest thing, Josh, is how on board everyone is with it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's our lady. She's our lady.
And like, she's so good.
Because everyone, only 28% was saying she was a few weeks ago. So all of a sudden, like another, 25% just jumped. Like, oh, okay, someone told me she needs to be our person, so I decided.
Isn't it terrifying?
I was told I needed to vote, be supportive, so I will.
Yeah, and to Tom's point on her turnaround, she was so unpopular, and the media has done this masterful job of. She wasn't the border czar, because everybody's like, well, she's the border czar and the border's a mess. And there's videos of her saying, "I'm the border czar, and I love this job." And the media's like, "She wasn't the border czar. What are you guys talking about?"
Yeah.
And everybody's on board. And like I saw this collage the other day of all of these things that the media said she never did or she wasn't involved with, and then they had clips of her saying that's her job and that's what she's doing. Like it's crazy how well the media
running cover for her.
It's incredible. It's simply incredible what we've seen, because a month ago I would have said she had no chance because she was so unpopular, and she is just this weird harpy. When she talks, she doesn't make any sense, and she has this weird crazy cackle when she's uncomfortable, which is all the time because she's so bad in a live interview. That's why she hasn't done a live interview, and nobody knows what her policies are going to be. And she's doing this really weird two-step where she's saying she's proud of her work with Joe Biden. It was the Biden-Harris administration. But she's also distancing herself from all the unpopular crap of the Biden administration. Like it's an incredible dance that they're doing for her, because people are very unhappy with Biden-Harris and the Afghanistan pullout, which I think today's the 3-year anniversary of, and the economy and the border. Like people are not happy with all of that. And she's so two-faced about it. She's saying, "I'm proud of the work we did, Bidenomics," or whatever it's called. And then on the other side, she's saying, "Yeah, that wasn't me." It's crazy. It's incredible. It's incredible that there's no democratic process involved, and the media has just ran with it, and they've covered for her masterfully.
Your party, Ryan. Oh, I want to know your opinion of it.
Okay, I'm happy to get to my opinion of Harris, but wow, you guys unloaded. You guys seem
scary.
really bothered by this.
It's
Like,
scary.
genuinely upset.
It is scary.
No.
Right?
So I want to. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
So I actually am not bothered by it. I just pointed out some facts, right? And I think the Democratic Party has actually done itself a huge injustice, right? I think it's actually going to hurt them and probably will cost. Trump will probably win, I believe. I think there was a honeymoon period, and I think that's going to wear off. And I think it's actually going to hurt them because she's not a strong candidate. And it's weird that, I mean, like something Josh did not mention was like she is a DEI hire, right? It was like Biden was like, "I'm going to get a black woman and as my VP," and he did. And it's like, okay, you got her, and but she's not. She doesn't interview well.
They're stuck with her.
Yeah, kind of. And so I think they should have done a blitz primary, and they should have gotten some candidates in there, and they should have jockeyed that. That's how you build a strong candidate: is you beat the crap out of each other, and the top dog wins.
But it's so antithetical to the leftist message, right? Because she is a DII hire, because she's a black woman, and that's how they promoted her, and that's how Biden got elected, is by catering to that vote with that stupid intersectionality. Then they can't go back and say, "Oh yeah, she sucks. We don't want to use her," when she's the obvious choice. She's the VP, and she still has a heartbeat, right? So they shot themselves in the foot with the whole intersectional DEI hire thing. Wow. Sorry, Ryan, you still haven't got to your take on
it. So I do want to respond to some of these, and I think it will hopefully turn into a good conversation. But like, there are so many things you guys are saying that are also true of Trump that I'm just kind of shocked by, but that's okay, right? So let me take them. I've got a list of like 6 or 7 things that you guys have said that I just kind of want to push back on. So where do we start? Let me start with the idea that this is somehow a threat to democracy, or that this has not been a democratic process, right? I think I get the general sense, right? So you're basically saying like there was no primary, nobody voted for him, and that's true, right? If Trump had in fact been shot and killed, would there have been a primary, or would they have taken JD Vance and just made him the candidate? Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not so much that like there was no primary whatsoever. There was a primary, and then Biden won it, right? To the extent that there was an actual primary. He was the only candidate on the ticket in most states, right? On the Democratic side. And then he withdrew from the race. So because he withdrew from the race.
Do you think he willingly withdrew?
Yeah, I'm going to come back to that. So that is one of my points. We'll come back to that. But I wanted to just kind of hit this point first. So if he withdrew from the race, and we're so close to the election that they're probably, and I'm not disagreeing with you, Tom. Like I kind of would have liked to see like some really rapid thing. I don't think it would make sense, right? So in this sense, I don't think it's really a threat to democracy to say they picked another candidate, right? In fact, I think Biden handpicked her.
It fully depends on if they pushed Biden out of the race or if he willingly withdrew. And I agree with Tom here. The way he was talking, I don't think he willingly withdrew. If he did, okay, maybe you have an argument. You still don't because the party leaders chose. But if they forced him out, you have no argument. Do you see what I'm saying?
Potentially. But I still want to get to the bigger point, which is like, she's not the president, right? So she hasn't been elected president. She's been chosen as the party candidate. That's not a threat to democracy. She hasn't been elected.
I agree with you on that because I agree. Okay. I don't think it's a threat to democracy. I believe it's poor management by the Democratic Party.
I will absolutely concede that, but she has not been elected, right? If the Democratic leaders of the party had just made her president by fiat, that is a threat to democracy. That is a serious problem. But if we've got a weird convoluted process where the candidate drops out this late in the game and they basically say like, all right, well, this is going to be the candidate because we don't have time to do primaries because the primaries are already over. I don't see that as a threat to democracy. That's like, we got to do something.
Can I clarify?
Sure.
I don't see Kamala as a threat to democracy. I see the fact that the party leaders have that much power that they can just unilaterally decide this is our new candidate. We don't like the guy that the Democrats voted for. That's, I mean, and I'm not even saying like we're in dire straits right now. Mm-hmm. That is terrifying to me that we're into a point where the Democratic Party leaders, they made the choice. They cut you out, right? They cut out all of the Democrats and they said, we're making this unilateral decision. The guy you voted for, Joe, he's out. Our lady's in. That's the threat of democracy, not Kamala. She's feckless.
I would nuance your argument and I would say that the mindset that what they're doing right now is okay is sobering for these basically this group that will be in power, right? If they won. And you're like, and you guys are okay with that. You're like, what else are you okay with, right? It's like, to me, so people talk about threat to democracy. Like, biggest threat to democracy was since FBI and Biden-Harris campaign of censorship of the Hunter laptop story in the 2020 election. That's sobering kind of threat to democracy to me. And this is the same group that's doing weird, like, no choice. We're just going to put this person in place. And you're like, that I would almost make an argument there that like they're okay with this kind of stuff. And then and they're clearly been okay with censorship. And I'm like, so what else are they okay with? Right.
Okay. So I don't know if we fully reached common ground here, but I would say like there hasn't been an election. Right. So they didn't appoint Kamala Harris as president. We still have a democratic process to go through. I don't see this as necessarily a threat to democracy. If we want to say this is a mismanagement of the party and that there are other issues, I'll concede that. I think that's fine, but I don't think this rises to the level of like threat to democracy or maybe somebody denying that they lost an election.
You just said
that seems like a threat to democracy.
There was no election.
Right. Because we haven't had the election yet. Right.
But there's no.
Yep. They can elect their people how they want, right? But
that is the prerogative of parties, right? Parties can ultimately make decisions however they want. They don't have to vote, right? Now, do they historically vote? Yes, but this is an extenuating circumstance. That's all my point is like, this was a weird circumstance. The person that was on the ballot, right, in the primaries, withdrew from the race.
The circumstance was he was polling badly and he was going to lose. It wasn't that he withdrew. Let's be honest and clear.
Okay,
he was polling. They knew he was going to lose, so they made him withdraw.
Okay, so let's get to that point next.
Very big difference.
Let's talk about why Biden stepped out. Okay, I will 100% concede that there was a lot of pressure on Biden to step down. Okay, That's true, right? Like you're laughing, but I'm agreeing that there was pressure. But at the end of the
Pressure,
day,
like Nancy Pelosi probably showed up in his office with a gun. Like that's the pressure we're talking about here.
yeah,
Chuck
Democrats
Schumer walked
bringing
in with an
guns.
axe.
Come on,
And
okay,
said,
maybe an axe, but not guns. They're anti-guns, Josh. Come on, get your
no, they're not.
metaphor straight.
They're only anti-guns in the hands of the commoners.
Oh,
They
geez.
are more than happy to be surrounded by guns of people protecting them.
Okay, so I listened to a pretty good podcast episode that included reporters who spoke to people in the room when he made this decision, right? So he had COVID, right? I don't know if you remember, but he had COVID. He pulled out of like he wasn't campaigning because he had COVID, so he was like convalescing at I think his beach house or something like that. And polling numbers were coming in, so all of the people closest to him were bringing the polling numbers to Biden, saying, "Look, you are behind in all the states that we have to win if we're going to win this." And they went back and forth. He was, like you said, pretty insistent that he was going to stay in the race until he got to the point where he was like, okay, how do the polling numbers look for Kamala? And when he saw that they actually looked better than his, that's when he made the decision to pull out. I'm not denying that there was tons of pressure, but the people in the room said that's what pushed him over the edge is when he realized Kamala was actually polling better than he was.
What else is he going to say? What else are they going to say? Of course,
Okay.
That's the story. Do you think Joe Biden actually gives a flying rip about Kamala Harris?
I think he actually cares about the country.
No, he doesn't. Joe Biden cares about Joe Biden and the Biden family.
Hmm.
Why else would he have stayed in that long? Because he knew. Like, he could read the polling numbers before that week. He knew. That is the silliest argument that you just
but now
made. Of course, that's the party line. Of course,
you're
that's the party
100%
line.
in conspiracy theory territory.
No, I'm
Josh.
not. Because just
100%.
look at
You have
look
no
at
evidence
Occam's
for
razor.
anything that you're saying. You have
Occam's
no
razor.
evidence. No evidence.
What is the most logical thing happening here?
Zero evidence.
Wow.
You have zero evidence for the argument that you're making.
I agree though with Josh.
Sure.
That's exactly what he's going to say because
Yeah.
that's the most supportive thing to say.
Well, with Chuck Schumer standing behind him with an axe saying, "Read this card, Joe." I mean, that's what happened, Ryan, and you know that's what happened.
No,
you know that's
my
what
point
happened.
My point is you don't know what happened, and I'm hearing from somebody who was in the room who said this is what the decision was.
You're hearing
is
from
it
a
100%
Democrat in the room?
Is it 100% accurate? I can't say it's 100% accurate. It's secondhand information, but it's better than
literally everybody
theory.
Listening to us argue right now knows I'm right and knows that you're just playing defense.
Knows?
Yeah.
Knows. This is scare quotes for those who are listening on the podcast. They don't know, Josh. That's my whole point. Like knowing is actually a thing, right? Where you have definitive evidence. You don't have definitive evidence. I won't even say mine's definitive, but at least I'm trying to bring evidence to the question. Anyway, yeah, so that was Biden's decision.
Tom, what'd you say, Tom?
Next. I want to know his next.
Next point. Okay. So you hit at three other things that I think this is where we get to the territory of like, okay, and this is tricky because I know neither of you are like Trump fans, right? I think Tom has said that like he's a never Trumper. Josh, I don't know where you stand on Trump other than I know you don't necessarily like him, but you'd probably vote for him over Kamala. Is that fair?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So first, one of the things, I don't remember which one of you said it. You can correct me on this.
My freaking candidate just dropped out of the race, which I'm pissed about.
Oh, you were going to vote for Kennedy.
For Kennedy?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, okay.
Me and several family members.
Oh, Kennedy.
He is by far the most sane candidate of the three. By far.
Like the one who had part of his brain eaten?
Yeah, but like that's the thing.
Left a dead bear in Central Park?
He is, but that's saying a lot, right? Of like, yeah, and he is the most sane candidate.
Like I'd throw Jeffrey Dahmer in the running. Like I don't know who would be more sane. Like,
oh my gosh, wow,
that's where we're at.
Anyway, so three things that you said, but I'm going to start with one. So one of you said How you get a good candidate is they beat each other up in the primaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that happen with Donald Trump?
Yes, it did in the previous primary.
Yeah.
You mean in 2020 or
no, in 2016?
2016. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll concede that. But Donald Trump didn't even participate in the primaries this year.
Right.
He participated in 0 debates.
He already
didn't
won.
talk to anybody, right? There was no beating up of Donald Trump whatsoever, right? So I thought that was a little awkward to be like, well, this is how the process should work. But Donald Trump just like walked through it. He's just like, I don't need you to talk to any of you.
So did Joe.
Well, sure.
Like when you have an incumbent president, that's pretty common that he's just the nominee.
Yes, but Trump is not the incumbent president, right?
He
essentially is.
Yeah.
I mean, there were other candidates in the race. They held debates, right? They had multiple Republican debates, and he just blew them all off, right? So anyway, minor point, but then you mentioned it is a power move. You mentioned 2 other things. You said Kamala doesn't make any sense when she talks, and it's not clear what her policies are. How is that any different from Trump?
Trump's pretty clear.
What?
His policies? I mean, he has a 4-year track record. You kind of know what his policies are, and he's pretty clear on most of his policies. That's not where you attack Trump.
That's 100% where you attack Trump. The dude is absolutely rambling, incoherent all the time. He never says anything that's clear other than insults to people. That's all he says that's like semi-clear is he insults people. And policies, the guy has no brain for policies whatsoever. He has no policies. He'll tell people whatever it takes to get him elected. He could care less about the actual policies. I don't think he cares. Keep in mind, this is the guy who is pro-choice before he actually ran for the Republican nomination. Then he switched because he knew that was going to get him elected. He could care less about abortion. You know he doesn't give a shit about abortion. He's just telling people what'll get him elected. He has no clear position on any policies whatsoever.
So I completely disagree.
Tom, you're really quiet.
Yeah, you need to talk louder.
I disagree. He talks about policies all the time, and like the bloodbath comment, right? He was talking about his plan to fight tariffs, and the media went nuts and said he was talking about bloodbath if he didn't get elected. But that was like his plan was he's like, yeah, if I'm elected, we're going to tariff the crap out of BYD and all their EV cars, and I think he's got like Josh said, he's got a track record, and he's laid out quite a few things. I totally agree with Josh. That's not where you attack Trump. Like you're going to be on character, on flippant comments, on his ad hominem attacks, right? That's where I think he's more susceptible.
Exactly. Yeah, you're up in the night on your argument there, right? He's very clear on his policies. Sorry, like
what are his policies?
He talks about his policies all the time.
Okay, so what is his position on abortion?
I think he said states. He's going to keep it with the states.
Yeah.
So he has no policy.
Well, that's
largely my policy. Like,
do you see what I'm saying? Though he's like,
no,
there's no winning policy for him because he knows that the vast majority of Americans actually want abortion to be legal, right? The vast majority. So
get off abortion because
we'll try something else.
Try something else.
I'm not remotely wrong. He has no policy. He's just backed away from what he did, right? So he knows it's a
but he's
position.
willing to debate. He's willing to debate Joe under all of Joe's criteria. He's willing to debate Kamala.
I'm waiting for
whatever her name is.
Kamala
she won't do it because she sucks.
She won't do it. She's already agreed to 3 debates. What are you talking about?
She hasn't made any statements since she's been elected. She doesn't do anything but read off teleprompters. She wouldn't even to do a state dinner. She had employees come in and practice being the roles of other heads of state because she's so bad at this stuff. She sucks. So you're just up in the night on Trump. Trump's very clear about his I don't even know what to say here. Trump's clear on his policies. Sorry. Like that's not my problem with Trump.
That's fascinating. Yeah. I've never seen him have clear policies other than
he doesn't speak very clearly because of the way
dropping
he talks.
nuclear bombs on hurricanes, right? Like that's a Trump policy.
That's not a Trump policy. He says weird things. That's where you attack him, not on his policies. He actually did some pretty good stuff as president.
such
and now
as.
you're going to force me to defend the guy.
Yeah, please.
You're just wrong. You're just wrong on where you're attacking him. Sorry, dude. I'm not even remotely prepared for this
no,
because I'm
I
shocked.
I agree that he's way weaker and it's easier to attack him on the stupid stuff he says in his ad hominem attacks. I totally agree with that. But I think it's harder to attack him on policies because he doesn't have clear policy positions.
He has 4 years of track record of very clear policies. Dude, move on. Like, this is dumb.
Okay, let's move on.
Ryan,
Yes.
I just want to know your
My take on Kamala Harris.
Yes, I want your take.
Okay, so I think those were most of my issues. I had some others, but we'll skip over those. Kamala Harris. Okay. Do I think she's better than Trump? Yes. Is she the strongest candidate that we could put forward? No.
Well,
Do I want to see her in a debate with Donald Trump? 100%. I think that will actually be pretty telling to see how well she does in a debate with Donald Trump, where it's not pre-scripted, right? Do I really care if she holds a bunch of press conferences? I mean, it's not like Donald Trump is amazing at press conferences. I don't really care, right? So that's fine. I do want to see the debate. So I would happily watch the debate, and maybe we should do like a live podcast where we comment on the debate or something like that. That might be kind of fun. But you know, as far as candidates go, yeah, I think she needs to clarify her policy positions. I think it would be useful to get some clarification on where she differs from Biden. She does have a lot of Biden baggage. I get that because it was the Biden-Harris ticket. So it's hard to say, well, I'm not Biden when it was her ticket. I think that's all fair. Those are all fair criticisms of Harris. But as far as like just as a person, she seems fine. She seems fine. Am I super excited about her? No. But is she fine? Yeah, she's fine.
So you have no problems that she is obviously a DEI hire, that she has no qualifications. She slept her way to all of her jobs in California. Like, what has she done? What has she done? What has she accomplished?
She was the attorney general for the state of California.
And she sucked at it. And she's on the
In
record
what sense? How did she suck at that?
She's on the record of saying stuff like we shouldn't be putting these people in jail, and then behind closed doors, there's tape of her saying, "Yeah, I put those people in jail. It's funny," and I was smoking marijuana, and I was prosecuting these guys, these black guys over here for smoking marijuana. Like, she's the worst kind of hypocrite, and she did sleep her way into that job. So,
okay, where's your evidence for her sleeping her way into the job?
Do you really want me to go find it?
Yeah, because I've heard the accusation, and I think it's a baseless accusation. I don't think it's true.
She hasn't denied it.
Yeah, she probably hasn't deigned to even consider it because it's such a baseless accusation.
Okay, go look into it.
Sure, we can look into it. Okay. But it's also, I mean, I don't know if you guys like know how it comes across to say that she's just a DEI hire, right? Is she more qualified than Donald Trump to be the president of the United States? What political office did Donald Trump hold before he became president?
You're in bad territory here, because no politician, like, not being a politician is the best qualification in my mind for being a president. Sorry.
I don't think that's true.
It's obvious.
And we can just disagree on that, right? That's fine. We can just disagree. But I think there's some merit to like having some experience in politics, knowing how the system works. I think that's actually useful. Donald Trump has just bankrupted companies. If you're going to go
into politics to make yourself money and to politic, yeah, it's great to have a whole bunch of experience doing that. But if you're just going to go and make good policies, like you're saying George Washington was a bad president, he didn't have any experience. Abraham Lincoln, bad president. He's just a lawyer.
He was a lawyer, right? So he had lots of experience with the law. George Washington was the general of the Revolutionary
presidents.
I think
they weren't politicians.
Right? Yeah, they had leadership. And Donald Trump has bankrupted his companies 3 times and done what?
I don't care about a bankrupt company. That doesn't mean anything to me. That means that you're trying new things and doing stuff.
So he's a bad businessman.
Utah is the #1 best It has the largest small business growth in all the nation, and has one of the best economies. Has been rated one of the best economies for in one top or second for the last 10 years, and it also has the highest bankruptcy rate. And so that just tells you we are trying new things, we're innovating, and that's what you got to do to make stuff work. So that's not a black eye in my opinion.
You can say he's a bad businessman, but he's worth billions, as far as I'm aware. Well, I don't know if we ever definitively saw his tax records, but he clearly has money. So you can throw that aspersion out that he's bad at it, but
well, I mean, he did build a casino right next to his own casino and bankrupted his own casino. That's
okay.
a really stupid decision, right?
In hindsight,
he inherited what, $700 million from his dad and managed to lose it all.
Yeah, the issue. So like, this is a big thing I talk about with Elon Musk. Like, and if you talk about like, so Elon Musk, right? They're getting ready to do the Starship 5, I think, and like if you every paper when he's Starship goes out, they're like, oh, Elon Musk Starship exploded, didn't make it down, didn't land successfully. Every time it's like a big failure, right? And that's his secret. That's the Elon Musk secret. He is a rapid iteration guy, right? So it means fail very fast and do it quickly. And that's the secret to his success. And if you're a critic, you're like, oh, look how he's failing. He's failing all the time. Well, hang on. Why did he just win the Boeing contract, like in the most embarrassing story ever made, where Boeing just stranded 2 astronauts and now has to beg SpaceX to go? But this is the failure company, right? And you're just like, yeah, I don't.
I have my own criticisms of Musk, but I wouldn't put Musk and Trump even remotely close when it comes to like their ability to innovate and CEOs of companies. What has Donald Trump actually done to innovate?
I'm saying failures, like what you like. He has built an incredible brand, and like that is his ability to create a message is amazing, right? Make America great again. So like, what was Hillary Clinton's message? Nobody knows, right? Like in the 2016, and like everybody knew, and red hats, and like it's just like everyone knows what his message is, right? Incredible. He did that with The Apprentice, right? He did that with it. He's very good at crafting.
You're fired.
Yeah, he's good at marketing. So he's good at marketing.
100%.
Okay, that's something.
And look what he did with that with Truth Social, right? And he's made a bunch of money off that with his brand. And like, he's good at that. I will tell him that. Like, I don't even like the guy, but he's good. He is good at that.
He's good at marketing, and he's good at fraud. Yeah, I'll concede both of those points.
Salesmanship.
See, why are we even having the discussion? Tom just gave you asked for examples. Tom gave you like 3, and you're like, yeah, whatever.
No, I conceded. He is good at marketing. He is good at fraud. He started a university that was a scam.
Oh gosh. Okay, why are we talking about this? Like,
you don't want to talk about all the bad things that this guy does.
I don't want to talk about him because we've talked about him ad nauseum, and this always, I'm always defending the guy. I don't like him.
Don't defend him then.
But you're defending Kamala left and right because you refuse to see the warts.
What did I say? God. What did I say?
Ryan, do you feel like the media is overestimating Kamala's strength?
See, that should be a definitive yes.
Would you let me answer the question, Josh? You're just like going straight at like, must be me. Answer how I would answer. That's not me. I am Mr. Nuance. That's why I'm on the podcast. Okay. I add nuance to everything.
Let's hear you defend Kamala, Mr. Nuance.
I didn't, right? It's just like baiting. Tom, you need a better mic so you can jump in and shut him up.
I know.
I made Tom laugh. Why would he shut me up?
Okay. I thought it was interesting how both of you kind of tried to depict the media's portrayal of Kamala, right? Have I been seeing it that way? Not necessarily, but that's also because I don't pay attention to a lot of the media, right? I've told you where I get my news. I don't need to repeat that again. But my sense is, yeah, you guys are probably right on this, that the media has built her up and helped kind of I don't know, reform her persona in the last 3 weeks since she became the nominee
Well,
effectively.
how
So
else do you
I'm
explain
basically
the jump
conceding that.
from 28% to whatever it is now? Like she hasn't done anything. So there's no, I mean, you're like on the fence, so like, oh, okay, maybe that's what happened, but
Well, but
like
Josh, I don't have to
what
agree
else?
exactly with what you're saying. I
What else
literally
could it
just
have
said,
been?
like, I'm conceding that the
What
media
else
has
could
done
it have
things.
been? Like you're so
So
reticent
what do
to
you want?
agree.
All right, Tom wants to say something. Let
Okay.
Tom say something.
Right. Do you I believe that they're doing the same thing to Kamala as they did with Biden, which is not appropriately vetting, right? They're not giving him debates, right? They kept him from any primary debates. They and then they really and didn't kind of protected his image, like, oh, he's fine, his mental state's fine, until it was I think we can all agree it was only admitted when it was not, they weren't not able to hide it anymore.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I feel like they're going to do the exact same thing with Kamala. They're through protecting her, they're actually making her weaker.
Fantastic point, because it was so weird to me when all of the liberals after the debate between Trump and Biden, all of the liberals were like, "Oh my gosh, he's a wreck."
Whoa,
And like,
Biden's got mental illness.
yeah, we've been making jokes about this for years. Like the right knew this. Tom and I have known this for years. He's been like, how long ago did I start calling him a senile old fart? Like it's been years, right? And all of a sudden, it's a big, shocking news story that he's senile and on the way out. Like that's crazy. And again, how can you explain that in any other way than to say the media is 100% culpable of covering for him?
I love how
Agree, Ryan?
definitive you are. It's like
What else
the
could it
media
be?
is 100%.
Give me any other feasible explanation.
Do you
Give me one.
remember the Steve Martin movie Roxanne?
No.
The one where he has the really long nose,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there's that very famous scene
Vaguely.
where they're in like a bar and somebody says, "Hey, big nose." And Steve Martin's character, right, is like, "Is that really the best you can do?" And the guy's like, "What, you can do better?" And he throws a dart and he's like, "I'll give you 20 better responses," right? Um, it, that's how you're coming across, is like, there is the one definitive answer. And I'm like, you know what?
Give me one other one.
I could give you 20 other possibilities.
Give me one.
It's not that there's 100%.
Give me one.
Sure. So what is it you want the answers on? Is like, how is the media not 100% culpable for what's going on? For which? For Biden or Kamala or what?
For either.
Because it seems like you just want a punching bag and it's always the media. The media is ultimately the punching bag. Is that really the only answer that you've got?
I'm waiting for you to give me one other one.
One other answer. Okay. The general electorate doesn't pay attention.
But suddenly now
Isn't
they're
that
all
true?
on board.
I mean, don't you have lots of people in your life who actually don't pay attention to politics hardly at all?
Okay.
Yeah. So once they do see it, right? So suddenly they hear, "Oh my gosh, there was a bad debate. Maybe you should look at it." And then they realize, "Oh, okay. So does that mean it's 100% the media's fault, or is it partly the electorate's fault? And could it be that it's not just the media protecting him, but instead maybe Biden tries to organize very specific events that help him look the best he possibly can?" Sure. All of those are possible explanations.
You're just saying liberals are stupid and uninformed because the right knew about it. The right's been talking about it for years.
I just gave you three. Josh.
That didn't make any sense. Okay, that didn't make any sense.
I gave you three. You said give me one. I gave you three.
Good work. You gave me three.
You want me to keep going? I'll
three
keep going.
that didn't make any sense.
Because you already have your answer.
I'm just glad you guys aren't in the same room. Turn into a newbie headlock fight.
We should never actually come to blows. That would, yeah. Maybe we should settle this in a boxing ring, like that Monty Python skit where we're deciding if God is real. So we have this atheist professor and this Catholic monk.
I haven't seen that.
It's pretty amazing. At the end, they're like, "Okay, it's definitive. God is real because the Catholic priest by three three
Three
bouts took
judges to
two.
four.
Yeah.
He won on the scorecards.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay, so where were we? I don't even know where we are on this Kamala Harris thing. I think
So-
Tom had asked me, like, what is my take? And I said, I
Well-
need more information, but I think she's fine.
The
Is
question
she
is,
exciting?
I said, do you think the media is doing the same thing? I said, I think that the media is doing the same thing that they did with Biden. I wanted you to know if you agree that they are protecting her to a fault.
I mean, certainly the media wants, and I've heard this from multiple news outlets, right? So not only has the Daily, which is the New York Times, but the Journal, which is the Wall Street Journal, both of them have said they would love to do one-on-one interviews with Kamala Harris. And multiple media outlets are trying to organize debates, right? So I think there are 3 debates lined up. We're going to have one here in like a couple of weeks. So it's not like the media are saying, hey, we must protect Harris at all costs. Don't let her debate. Don't let her talk, ad hoc. They're saying they want this. So I think it's a hard sell to say like the media is 100% behind Kamala Harris and they're going to protect her and they're going to kind of shape her image exactly how they want it to be. They're the ones who run the debates, right? It's media personas who are actually the kind of people who manage the debates. They want the interviews just as much as we want her to be interviewed and to do the press conferences. So have they shaped her image? I already conceded that. I think they have done some to do that. But at the end of the day, I don't think the media is 100% like must get Kamala, and it doesn't matter how we do it. They're still trying to get more information about her too.
She's the vice president of the United States. You'd think that there's something out there on her that they might have an idea on. Sorry, Tom, what'd you say?
Wish we could get some information.
Yeah, who is this stranger? Kamala?
What is
Who's
it you guys
that?
are looking for? I don't even understand what you're looking for.
Definitive policy positions? I don't know.
I'd look for those for Trump too. I can turn every one of these around, Josh. Like
Of
you
course
name
you
it.
can.
It's just like a mirror, a rubber ball, right? It's just going to bounce
Of
right back
course.
at you every
Because you're
time.
the king of nuance. You just can't see the writing on the wall. Got it.
Ukraine.
All
Yeah.
right, we're done with Kamala. We're done.
I hope so, because she's revolting.
Oh my gosh, revolting. It's so extreme. So extreme. Okay, so our second topic is what's happening in Ukraine. And I think the big news, if our listeners aren't aware, is Ukraine invaded Russia, right? They entered into the Kursk region and now are controlling more than 1,000 square kilometers, something like 400 square miles of Russian territory, which was kind of a big shock. I think a lot of the news immediately was like, are they going to try and hold it? What's going on? They have held it. It's been over 2 weeks now that they're holding the territory. They're blowing up bridges. They're surrounding Russian soldiers. It's pretty interesting what's going on. What's your guys' take on what's happening in Ukraine?
All right. So I'm always doing comedy bits and stuff like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, So I thought through if I was going to do a bit on that, what I would do, and it was going to go a little something like this. You're like, Ukraine invades Russia. Ukraine does a late summer invasion of Russia. What could go wrong?
The history buffs are going to like that. Most
Yeah.
people are going to have no idea what that means.
Exactly. Well, right. Apparently, Zelensky missed the "Do Not Invade Russia" class the day the cover "Do Not Invade Russia." That apparently Napoleon and Hitler missed as well.
And Sweden.
And many others.
Yep.
And that was like, yeah, the 400 square feet. Because they invaded the Kursk, which is area, and you're like, oh, 400. That equates to like 0.001 of Russia, the largest country in the world. You're like, okay, I'm sure past performance will equate to future results. Like, this is all going to go great. I'm sure this is a complete success story. So that was sort of my bid on it. That's
pretty good. I like that.
Josh?
Yeah, so historically speaking, terrible idea. You don't invade Russia because Mother Russia is basically undefeated. She's just too good at like, the Russian soldiers suck. They've always sucked. We've talked about this on the podcast. I quoted the great Vicini from The Princess Bride. The only dumber thing to do than
Get involved in a land war in Asia.
yeah, is go against the Sicilian when death is on the line. Right? So this is a land war in Russia. You just don't invade Russia. And as Tom very accurately said, that was the downfall of Napoleon and Hitler and Charles the 12th of Sweden and others. Like, bad idea. All that being said, brilliant counterstroke, because it's really hard to fight a defensive war against a numerically superior enemy. And Ukraine has been on the defensive. They've been losing. If you can, in my mind, this is a Sherman's March. Okay. For those that, look it up. History's awesome. Sherman marched south during the Civil War, all the way down to Georgia, and just burned Confederate stuff all the way down, right?
Mhm.
And it was what?
Scorched earth.
Yeah. Just smashing supply lines and all sorts of stuff. You can't win a war without logistics. So Sherman's March was a brilliant move by the Union, and it really helped end the war sooner, right? And that's kind of what this is. Now Russia's going to have to scramble and move troops over there and move logistics over there and rebuild their own infrastructure. So strategically speaking, I think it's brilliant. If they have enough forces where they're not really weakening the defense of Kiev and their other key regions, I think it's a brilliant masterstroke. I wouldn't count on holding any of that territory. If it were me, I would blitz through and just smash as much as I could with like a roundabout way to get your forces back. I would not try to hold any Russian territory. Unless there's something really strategic close to Ukraine. But I think it's a brilliant move. I really do. And screw you, Russia. Like, brilliant.
Okay, so Tom, aside from the humor bit, which I did appreciate as well, other thoughts on this, or was that like covering it?
I think Josh put it well. I agree. Like to change things up, right? Change the pacing and the geographics of the war. Probably a good move, right? But like I agree. Don't try and hold it, and I wouldn't make this your long-term strategy of taking Russia, right?
Interesting. Okay, so I don't know that there's a lot of disagreement here. I have heard people suggest that part of what may have been motivating Ukraine is if they can go in and take this property, right? So Russian territory, then when it comes time to actually like call an end to the war and negotiate a settlement, then they could say, well, we have some of your territory. If you give us back our territory, we'll give you back your territory. But that would be contingent upon them holding this, right?
Yeah.
So I have heard that argument, and I'm not necessarily saying it's a good idea. I just was wondering if you'd heard that and what your thoughts are on that, because that's also partly like, I totally get the, go in and destroy their logistics. And they've certainly done a lot of that, right? They're blowing up a lot of logistical centers. They're trying to do that. But it sounds like both of you are saying, don't try and hold this. What if they try and hold it in exchange for the territory that Russia has?
If they have like a backroom channel talking to the Kremlin saying, hey, let's figure out a way to bring an end to this thing. Yeah, brilliant. But if not, I mean, Putin's already shown that he's willing to go balls to the wall over this thing. I don't know that it's a good move to try to hold it. Like now you're away from your own logistics and your own supply lines. You're spreading your own supply lines out. And again, historically speaking, invading Russia is a bad move. But if the Ukrainians have some sort of inkling that maybe they can start negotiating, yeah, brilliant move. It gives them more chips at the table.
Tom, thoughts?
So I heard Jordan Peterson was talking about Donald Trump and compared him to a 13-year-old bully. And but he was saying there are advantages to that, in that there's a weird unpredictability that often keeps some of these more megalomaniac rulers like, Rocket Man and Putin in check, right? They didn't make these moves on Trump's watch, and so he said, and I think that's the thing with Putin. I do, and I what I'm my point is that I think Putin's a similar character in that Putin's he wants a victory out of this, right? I don't think he's going to be like, yeah, let's do a nice even Steven trade and we all go home, right? I just don't see a scenario where he's interested in that. Like, if he thinks he's going to lose, I think he pulls out nukes. That's
Yeah.
what I think. He's a wild card, and I don't think any rational like nice even trade and we all go home is ever going to happen.
Can I add some nuance to that?
Sure.
I think part of the problem for Putin is he has no off ramp that is like that he can take back to Russia and go, look what we got. And honestly, I think that's Ryan will call me out on this. I think this is the Biden administration's fault. If they would have said, okay, let's broker something here, Putin, we're going to give you, you don't like that NATO's on your doorstep. We're going to pull back a little bit. That's a path to a victory that he can claim, and we can stop the war. Nobody's giving him that off ramp. So to Tom's point, what does he have to lose? He's already, if he stops now, he's lost, and it looks bad for him. And it's a big black guy, and Russian people are turning against him. He needs an off ramp to claim some sort of victory. So I agree with what Tom's saying. Just adding a little more nuance to what I think is Putin's situation.
Again, I don't know that I'm necessarily disagreeing with you on this, but correct me if I'm wrong. Trump has basically said he would just stop supporting Ukraine.
You mean Trump has a policy position?
I was waiting for Josh to not actually answer the question and just trying to get the easy point. So I was waiting for that.
No, you weren't. You set yourself up for it.
I was like 95% certain you were going to say that. Like 95% certain you were going to say that.
It was good.
So do you now want to answer the question, or do you just want to keep getting cheap shots?
Like you want me to critique Trump's position?
What happens?
I'm not sure what you want.
If Trump wins, he wins, and January, well, I guess it'd be like, let's say early February, he says, we're not going to fund anything else in Ukraine. We're pulling out. If NATO wants to continue to fund them, if Europe wants to continue funding them, so be it. But we're out. We're giving them nothing. And we're fine if Russia takes over Ukraine. Which is basically what it sounds like he's saying. What happens?
Russia takes over Ukraine.
And you guys are okay with that?
But should we put boots on the ground? Like, there's no good alternative now. There really isn't, because the past administrations, you can blame whoever you want, like they've botched the job that bad. Like, there's no good alternative. That letting Ukraine fall might be the best alternative, because as Trump said very recently, I think I read somewhere, this re-escalation that the Russia just did, this huge bombing thing they just did yesterday, I think it was. Mm-hmm. He said that might lead to World War III. Well, if we put boots on the ground, or we try to, it might. So maybe Ukraine falling is the best thing. I don't know. It's such a bad, convoluted situation now, and Putin has nothing left to lose because we've not given him an off ramp. Maybe that does lead to World War III. I don't know.
Let me pit Josh against Josh. This will be fun. I'm pretty certain you said at one point that it was Obama who didn't respond when Russia took Crimea that emboldened Putin. And that's why Putin has now invaded Ukraine. So if we let Putin take Ukraine, haven't we just emboldened Putin even more? And then what's next? What does he take after
World
that?
War III. So I don't think you're seeing what my current position is here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you disagree on what I said about Obama, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but Putin clearly was emboldened. He went from attacking Crimea, where he has a lot of support, to trying to take over all of Ukraine, where he doesn't have a lot of support. Clearly, he was emboldened to do that somewhere. If we would have stopped him before he was emboldened and had no off ramp and had no other choice than to go all out, yeah, maybe we're not having this 30-month war in Ukraine. But the cat's out of the bag. Pandora's box is opened. How am I contradicting myself here? The situation has changed.
Right. I get that, but I'm basically saying he was emboldened with Crimea. He took it, right?
Yeah.
Took it pretty easily.
Yep. Nobody did anything.
Very minimal consequences, right?
Yes.
Some embargoes, blah, blah, blah. And we just gave it to him.
Yep.
So he was emboldened. And then he's like, okay, now I'm going to take Ukraine, right? If we just say, all right, take Ukraine, what would lead him to stop at that point?
Maybe nothing. I mean, if you want to look at history, this is exactly what happened with Hitler, right? Hitler was like, oh, no, I'm a peaceful guy. And then he takes Poland. And what does the Allied powers do? Nothing. And then he turns on France, and they're like, oh, frick, okay, I guess we should have stepped in when he was going after Poland. So I understand the historical context of what you're saying. Maybe that's what we're about to replay. Or, but if we step in, like when the Allies stepped in, it was World War II, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we step in now, historically speaking, this is probably World War III. That being said, I think Russia has, if you take nukes out of the picture, I think we if we really wanted to go in, we could go in and stomp Russia. They've shown that they suck at this, and they've probably used 95% of their resources already, and what they're throwing at Ukraine is stuff that they're just trying to produce as quickly as they can. We're way better at this. If we wanted to go in and just stomp them, we probably could. But then you got the whole nuke problem.
Tom, thoughts?
I don't know. I think, yeah, I think what Josh was trying to say is there's a preventative nature, right? That I think Trump emulated, and that, but that now the cat's out of the bag, right? Like Putin's already played his hand with Ukraine, and so we know his intent. And so, like, I think that was the advantage of Trump, was that, like, we don't know what Trump will do, right? And I think Putin honestly that's what stayed his hand, was he's like, this guy, I don't know, right? And but like, yeah, so I kind of agree. It's like, let Putin do whatever the crap he's going to do. It's weird that I think the whole thing is weird, right? That we're supporting this war, and that we're supporting a non-NATO this non-NATO country, right? It's sort of it sends a weird message to the rest of the world. So I think that the chips should just fall where they should, but unfortunately, Ukraine was just paying Biden too much money, so it was just he had to get involved, and
it's the truth.
Yes, he did. Did you see the House report? He got 27 million over the last 4 years from foreign nationals and companies.
Who did
that? The Biden's. That was the House. What is it? The committee report came out. This was a big story. And that basically,
I'm so shocked.
He committed impeachable acts, is what they said.
I'm pretty sure that they said they weren't going to impeach him.
Well, of course not.
They just laid out the report. I don't think they've made an action, especially since he's not running for re-election.
He's probably dead.
Anyway, but so yeah.
I'm looking at it. The House Oversight, Judiciary, and Ways and Means Committee.
This is really boring.
Sorry, I'm looking it up to see.
As soon as you say Ways and Means Committee, my brain just goes to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're just boned with we let it go too far. Now there's no easy way out. But you want to get conspiracy theory stuff here. I don't think the politicians care, because they get to bleed Russia dry. They don't really care about the people dying in Ukraine, and they the military industrial complex is making money hand over fist, because we're We're giving them tanks and jets, and Iran's profiting because they're buying all the drones from Iran. Russia is, and I don't think the politicians give a crap that we have a war where 10,000 Ukrainian civilians have died. Otherwise, they would have done something. They don't freaking care. They are immoral people.
Intriguing.
And I mean, it's devastatingly sad. This new Russian offensive where they bombed a whole bunch of stuff. It was all civilian infrastructure that they're bombing.
That's all they're bombing. They
Okay,
rarely bomb anything else.
They're trying to make the civilians suffer.
Yes, that's what Russia is doing. They've been doing that for years, right?
Yeah,
they're bombing energy infrastructure. They're bombing hospitals. They're bombing schools. I mean, it's just crime against humanity after crime against humanity.
But none of the politicians care. Like, we don't even talk about this war anymore because it's now old news that Russia's doing this. So maybe the best thing that could happen would be the war ends and Russia wins so that the people could stop being bombed. I don't know. It's too late now unless we want to start World War III. It's kind of my take on it.
Do you really think that Russia would pull out the nukes?
I think Putin's that desperate because there's no he's one of these megalomaniacs. He's a tyrant. If he loses, like I just saw that the Russian people's feeling towards him, his poll numbers or whatever in Russia are going down after this Ukraine invasion, right? If he loses this war, he's done. And if he has as much power as I think he has, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, what does he have to lose? I don't think somebody with that much power in Russia is going to retire peacefully to some little villa on the Black Sea.
Villa. Yeah, he's got a huge villa.
Yeah, I think he either has the power or he gets a bullet to the head. That's Russia.
Tom agrees.
I agree that yeah, it's if he's threatened, I think he would because he's not going to retire. He's dead, right? That's his way. That's his exit. Is he's dead or he stays in power. Yep. And I think if he gets threatened, then it's like, well, I'm going to do something wild to mix things up a little bit.
The only reason why I'm questioning it is people have repeatedly said that Putin has drawn these like red lines, right? It's like, oh, if you use these weapons to do this, then I'll pull out my nukes. If you use the weapons to do this, then I'm going to do this, right? So he keeps drawing these red lines, and we keep giving more advanced weapons and more advanced weapons. Now they're getting fighter jets, right? They have some of our most advanced missiles at this point that can shoot way into Russia. He hasn't pulled out the nukes.
Because we're playing the game. We haven't entered the war officially. We haven't put boots on the ground. We haven't sent our soldiers over. We're still playing this game of this little tit for tat thing where we're just pushing the envelope. Just push it a little further. He would look like a complete madman if all of a sudden he was like, nukes, no, right? Because we're just incrementally playing the game. That's why he hasn't done it yet. If we put boots on the ground or something, or entered the war, yeah, he has nothing to lose. That's my take. I could be wrong. That's my take.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know there was anything to necessarily agree with. I just wanted to talk about it because I thought the invasion from Ukraine into Russia was interesting. I don't know exactly what to make of it, right? So I appreciate historical context. That's useful. I'm wary of them trying to hold it, given how light their front lines are at this point, that they're short on resources. I'd heard a variety of different kind of claims of why they're doing this, what the possible benefits might be, but I don't really know, right? And I don't know the answers to any of this, of course. I just wanted to talk about it with people who seem to like also want to talk about it a little bit. Interesting.
Sounds like we kind of all agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know. And I think at the end of the day, we all agree that like we don't know what the best answer is. But
on the war in general,
situation. Yeah.
On the counteroffensive by Ukraine, strategically, it's brilliant. My son is obsessed with Napoleon, my 12-year-old. He dressed up as Napoleon for for Halloween last year, and so I've taught him a lot about. I'm kind of obsessed with Napoleon. He was a great general, psychopath, but incredible military leader. His great. He had a couple good things in battle, but the big thing was logistics. He was amazing at logistics. That's what the U.S. Army's great at. We're great at logistics. So if Ukraine moves in and starts smashing up Russian logistics, which already sucked, we saw that on day one when their long convoys got stuck on one road. That could actually turn, if they do it well enough, that could turn the war in their favor. It could get the Russian people going, yeah, this sucks. That's why the U.S. spends, one of the reasons I believe, why the U.S. spends so much time and money fighting wars overseas and invading Iran or Iraq, right? Fighting wars over there where it doesn't affect our civilians is way better than fighting a war here where civilians are dying. You quickly lose morale and the popular support of the people if their church is getting blown up, right? But if it's just some news story of some faraway people fighting, oh yeah, that sucks. Cool. Let's go to McDonald's.
All right. I think, are we good there? We wrap it up? Yeah. Anything else we want to add? No. All right.
Are we talking about Israel?
No, I think we're done. It's a little late for me. I think I need to go. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We will try and do another episode sooner rather than later, right? So probably not another month between episodes this time, but we'll see. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
Josh, we may not always agree when it comes to politics, even though we're trying, but there is one thing we agree on. There is only one way to clean up after going to the bathroom, and that's with a Lux bidet.
I've been a proud owner of a Lux bidet for years. I have literally owned a Lux Neo 320 since 2013. That's the warm water model. Talk about happy, fun, poopy time. When I leave the bathroom, I know I'm clean and ready to talk politics in a civilized manner.
Exactly. Using a toilet without a bidet is about as uncivilized as it gets. Civil conversations demand civil hygiene practices.
And that is why our listeners should get themselves a Lux bidet.
And just to be clear, Lux is not supporting one side or the other in this podcast. They support civil conversations and clean butts.
Listeners can get their own Lux bidet with 10% off by ordering at luxbidet.com and using our promo code FCBG10, Finding Common Battlegrounds 10.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. The music is by Ben Sound. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the participants and not those of their employers. For more information or more episodes, you can find us at findingcommonbattlegrounds.com.